Hi everybody, it's Richard here. I thought I'd pick up on a thread that's going around with regards to your first 10 albums that you ever bought. I saw a couple of videos on it. Rob Walker, excellent video, and Randy Weaver from America, another excellent video, and they showed some pretty cool stuff for their first 10 albums. My first 10 will not have you running off the Discogs. It will not have you running off the eBay to see if you could pick up copies. But I thought I would go for it anyway. Listen, these 10 albums, some of them are absolute crap. But I love them. There you go. End of story. The first one, and I believe this is the first album I ever got, must have been 1973. When I was 7 years old. The first one belonged to me, and as I mentioned Rob there a minute ago, he will know of these because he's English. The Americans may not know of them, and that is Top of the Pops. Now this is volume 31, and it had such great hits like Rubber Bullets, Hellraiser, Walk on the Wild Side, See My Baby Jive, which was the reason I wanted it, because I wanted to see My Baby Jive. But these are not original artists. These I think retailed for about 49p back in the day, and they sold by the bucket load. In fact, two of these actually got to #1 in the full British album charts. Now, as I say, this is number 31, and the reason why I know that is because I've got a wee clear sticker on here saying 31. Which implies something. I saw a few of these in a local record shop a couple of years ago for 10p. I picked them up. They're awful condition. I picked them up and I looked on the internet and I thought, my God, there's 92 of these things. And I kept picking up, and the more that you picked up, the more you got deep into it. So I started collecting them, and I've now got the full set. This one will always be my favourite because it's the first one I ever got. As you can see, they're probably a sexist cover in this day and age, with a pretty girl in front, which was probably the main attraction for a lot of people picking them up anyway. But in their defence, they were a cheap way wherever you couldn't afford an album or even a single, because I think these retailed the price of a single. For people to listen to music, and I know a lot of people were disappointed when they got home to find out they weren't the original artists, and some of the versions are a scream. Some of them are hilarious. To hear a Top of Pops version of Bohemian Rhapsody is unbelievable. But again, I love them. I very rarely play them, but still, I like to have them in the collection. Just to let you know, Top of the Pops was the name of a music show in the UK that aired every Thursday night. You might remember After Tomorrow's World, I think it was, which was always the longest programme ever because you couldn't wait for it to finish. But I don't think they copyrighted the name, and these guys, Pickwick, jumped on it and got away with it. 92 versions of these, volumes of these were made, plus another 6 European editions, plus bests of from, I think it was 1969 to 1981 or 82. So yeah, I've got a big box of them. They're worth nothing, apart from the last few. The last two actually had cover girls, which were Linda Lusardi and Samantha Fox, and they actually go for a reasonable amount of money, but that's the first one I ever got. Second one, this is a brilliant album, and this brought me back into music again in 1980, because whenever I acquired my second-hand hand-me-down record player from my brother, I played this and I thought, oh my God, this is fantastic. I didn't like it at the time. It was bought from my cousin for 10p. I remember it. The only song I liked on it was Ride a White Swan, but this is a collection of Tyrannosaurus Rex songs plus Ride a White Swan. It was initially released as an album called Best of T-Rex with 3 extra tracks and dropping the Ride a White Swan. single itself. This came out in the Budget Music for Pleasure label. I love it. I cite this as one of the greatest albums I've ever heard. It was the catalyst really to get me into buying music, and I'll always defend this album. This is the exact copy as well. I've never got rid of it. So this was the second one that I got. Third one, 20 Smash Hits. I got this solely, I wanted this solely because I wanted Slade's My Friend Stan. But this is actually a really good compilation. It's wrecked, by the way. I might actually see if I can pick up a decent copy of this somewhere. But this has some great songs on it. This is David Bowie, Rock and Roll Suicide on it. Slade, My Friend Stan. It had Brian Ferry, the Bob Dylan cover, Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, Roxy Music, Street Life, as well as the Doobie Brothers, Listen to the Music. Okay, it had some naff things as well, like Billy Don't Be a Hero, Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round the Old Oak Tree, but it even had some really hard rock like Family Burlesque. So I was listening to Family Burlesque when I was about 8 years old. How cool is that? Anyway, great album. I love it, and I've since made a CD of this, you know, and this takes me back. Next one. Now here we're going to get into a trilogy. This was bought just before Christmas in 1974 because it had the big Christmas hit single on it, and I will defend these next three albums with honour. The Wombles, Keep On Wombling. Fantastic album. I know every song is about womble this and wombling that and all the rest of it, but they're very well constructed songs, all written and sung by Mike Batt. I believe Chris Spedding was on guitar as well in the recording, so they're very, very good songs. And I got this before Christmas in '74, which meant that for Christmas in 1974 I wanted these two, which was the first album, Wombling Song, and their best, Remember You're a Womble. I know. I will defend them. I love them. I think they're great. You have to also remember that in the singles charts, nobody spent more weeks in the singles charts in 1974 than the Wombles. But anyway, I won't go on. So how many have we left? There's 4 left. The next one I believe was early '75 when I got this. And it wasn't the one I wanted. I wanted the one before this, but I got Alvin Stardust's solo album. It's alright. It's okay. 3 big hit singles on it: Red Dress, You, and Tell Me Why. A couple other decent other songs on it, but generally it's the fag end of the glam rock era. It's alright. It's okay. Next came in '75, the Bay City Rollers, Once Upon a Time. I don't even know why. I wasn't even a big fan of the Bay City Rollers. I don't even know why I got this, and I didn't really like Bye Bye Baby. It was okay. It was the only hit single on this. I don't know, but I must have wanted it. The one song I did really like on this was the one that Alan Longmuir, rest in peace, sang, called Rock and Roll Honeymoon. I always thought that was fantastic. I think it was because my brother had Rollin', and this was the next one, and I thought, oh, this is going to be better, but it wasn't. Not that Rollin's that good in the first place, but anyway, I kept it. This is the original copy. I wouldn't dare play it, or you'd have to buy a new stylus. Which leaves, I believe, the last 2. And 2 albums I think are really good. This was probably about '78 that I got this one. And that's Smokey's Greatest Hits. And I absolutely love this album. And I still love this album. I think it's fantastic. Lay Back in the Arms of Someone, If You Think You Know How to Love Me, I'll Meet You at Midnight was always my favourite. Living Next Door to Alice, well, not so keen. And Don't Play Your Rock and Roll to Me, Wild Wild Age. A great album. So this is probably the ninth album I bought. I know I got a tape around the same time of two of their albums, the Montrose album and Midnight Cafe, but I never thought they were very good. It was really only the hit singles I wanted. And now, what I consider to be the best greatest hits of all time, I got as a hand-me-down. For my brother had two copies because one jumped, and it turned out it didn't jump. There was just a little bit of dirt on it, and so he bought another one, and he gave me mine, which I've got rid of. I've since bought a decent copy of. And whenever he handed me down his record player, this was one of the first ones I played, and this is number 10. I'm so glad that I was able to get this fitted in, because this to me is one of the finest greatest hits album ever, with there only really being 4 big hits on it and a couple of minor singles. But this is ABBA. This album I could talk about forever. It takes the best songs of their first 3 albums, and I mean the best songs. Most compilations you always will say, nah, not too sure about that one or this one or that one. But this does take the best songs and throws in Fernando, and this was on the charts for donkey's years. And I love this album to bits. It's perfect. If I had to get, I love ABBA, by the way. I think they're a fantastic group, and the songwriting is just immense. But this is the one album I would probably grab if I could only ever keep one ABBA album, and I love this. So there you go. That's my 10. Yeah, I know. The Discogs sellers will be rubbing their hands now, waiting for 12 viewers to make their orders. But no, at the end of the day, music is memories, and a lot of those there albums do bring back a lot of memories for me. I love them, and I wouldn't get rid of them as such. I've upgraded them, of course, but the old rackety ones are lying about somewhere. But anyway, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to make another video soon. Until then, bye.